Okay. Mic check 1 2 1 2. I am the Y2K Collector, and I'm back at you with another video just to continue going over my Sega Saturn collection. I kicked this off. This was supposed to be happening every Wednesday, but this week did get a little hectic, and so I'm featuring this episode today. And so I'm going to be taking you along with me as I kind of comb through some more import Sega Saturn games. And for those of you who have never had a Sega Saturn, maybe you're thinking about collecting for the Sega Saturn, you've had interest in the Sega Saturn, to me, the Sega Saturn is one of the best places to go when you're looking for that retro arcade feel from a video game. I want to say the Sega Saturn is home to some of my favorite arcade games, and that includes games from the X-Men vs. Street Fighter series. That includes many shoot 'em up games, fighting games. There's some action games, and really, some 2D sprite based, games. They're just amazing on the Sega Saturn. Not only visually, but the sound that comes out of the Sega Saturn is just so much closer to the arcade than any other console from that generation that I've played. So the Sega Saturn is just an amazing machine. I'm a huge fan of it. I didn't grow up with a Sega Saturn. I knew friends who had Sega Saturns when I had the PlayStation. And even though the PlayStation was the more popular console, and even though the Sony PlayStation had a ton of games for it, there was just something about the Sega Saturn. There was like this mystique around the Sega Saturn that just made me want to get one. But you're a kid and you can't afford Sega Saturns when you're in junior high. So now, as an adult, I've decided to go ahead and I decided a couple years ago to jump into the Sega Saturn and build a collection. And these import games are some of the, they're not one, they're fun. And then second off, they're going to be a lot cheaper than some of their North American counterparts. And some of these games weren't even released in North America. So pretty exciting stuff when it comes to the Sega Saturn, for me at least. And I'm happy to go ahead and take you along with the journey. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to stop jabbering and blabbering, and I'm going to get going here on these Sega Saturn games. So first up is a very difficult one to pronounce, so I'm going to get it out the way first. The first is Sokyu Guarentai, and I think that's how you say this game. We're going to go ahead and get that in focus there. But yes, this is the first shoot 'em up in today's series of games. It is a very fun shoot 'em up. I haven't played this as much as I want to, because at the time, I think I was still very much into another shmup. But this is a pretty fun one. Top-down space shooter. Nothing too out of the ordinary. But with these games, or this game in particular, it's really more so the fast-paced feel of the game. And I think this is one that if you like shmups, you'll want to check out on the Sega Saturn. So yeah. And then next up, we have Metal Black. Right? So not to be confused with Twisted Metal Black. This is just Metal Black, and this is a very retro space shooter, side-scrolling space shooter. The graphics on this reminds me a lot of Sega Genesis, and this is one of those games where you just keep on collecting like orbs. All the orbs look the same, so it's not one of those games where you can get like a enemy chaser or a laser beam or anything like that. You pretty much have one type of weapon, and all the items you collect pretty much just charge your one main beam. So pretty simplistic, but a lot of fun. So if I were you, I'd check it out. Metal Black, very fun space shooter game on the Sega Saturn. Okay, then next up we have one from a series that a lot of us are familiar with, and this is Thunder Force 5. Now this is available on the Sony PlayStation 1. but I think it's more expensive. It's a lot more expensive. There's more loading times, and the gameplay isn't as fun on the Sega Saturn. I'll be honest with you. It is convenient to have a game like that on the PlayStation, but it's a much better experience on the Sega Saturn. And if you're into the Thunder Force series, I remember playing Thunder Force 2 and Thunder Force 3 as a kid, but this was one that I wanted to add in as I was collecting for the Sega Saturn, and it's fun. So check it out, Thunder Force 5. Next up, oh, this is a cool one. I like this one. So this is Cotton 2, more of a cute 'em up than a shmup per se, but they're actually re-releasing this game as a part of like a compilation cartridge. I think you would be getting Cotton 2, Cotton Boomerang, and another Cotton game, and you'd be able to play these on the Nintendo Switch. However, I heard that there's some latency issues, some input issues with that Cotton, and it's one of the main reasons why, there's not, that song comes to mind, ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Just if you're wanting that nostalgic feel, you're wanting to play it on the original hardware, sometimes that's the best way to play some of these games, but you will have a chance to play it on the Switch. Be on the lookout. I'm sure they'll fix some of those issues that are going on with it. But Cotton 2 is a very fun cute 'em up. All right, now we're going to get into some cool Atlas stuff. Here we've got Don Patchy. So this is the Don Patchy game here. This is an Atlas shmup, very colorful, bullet hell. I mean, bullets all over the place. But this is one of the best shmups on the Saturn. I would say that this is probably in many folks' top 5. And this would go right up there along with Don Patchy, which is actually, in my opinion, it's also by Atlas, but in my opinion, this is a little bit more fun than Don Patchy. In some ways, I'd rather play Don Patchy, and more action, more bombs, more bullets. Just my type of a shmup game. So Don Patchy, check that out if you get a chance. All right, keeping that train going here, we have one. I couldn't talk about the Sega Saturn if I didn't bring this game up. And this is, of course, Darius. So I've talked about Darius, and I'm pretty sure I've got Darius on the Switch, PlayStation, Vita, PSP. I mean, I probably got Darius almost on every system I own. I just love the Darius series. I love me a good side-scrolling shmup, and that's what Darius delivers here. So definitely check that out on the Saturn. It's going to feel like a completely different game on the Saturn. I mean, a lot of these shmups are on other consoles, but when you play them on the Saturn, between the Saturn controller, which is just amazing, it's one of the best controllers I've ever played on outside of the Neo Geo Pocket controller, and it's mainly because of the D-pad that's on the Neo Geo Pocket. Love that D-pad. But the Sega Saturn controller is amazing, and it makes it so easy to play games like this Layer Section, right? So Layer Section is also an amazing import shmup for the Sega Saturn. There is a North American version of this called Galactic Attack, but I didn't want my wallet to get attacked by buying that game. So I went ahead and got Layer Section. I think this is a part of the whole Ray Storm, Ray Crisis series in some way. And those are two shmups that are on the PlayStation 1. That is Ray Storm and Ray Crisis. So somehow Layer Section falls into that. Can't remember how, but if you do know, go ahead and leave the comments down below and help me figure that out. All right, and last but not least is one that I'm pretty sure is in most folks' top 3 shmups of all time, and that is Radiant Silvergun. And there's no way that I could own a Sega Saturn without owning a copy of Radiant Silvergun. And these are hard to find, especially in America. But I was able to stumble upon a copy of Radiant Silvergun and went ahead and added it. And Radiant Silvergun really, it lives up to its reputation, right? As being one of the best shmups ever. In my opinion, it's kind of on par with Mars Matrix, and Mars Matrix is available on the Sega Dreamcast. But this is a very fun shmup, one that I would definitely recommend you check out if you have a Sega Saturn. And that does it for all of my import Sega Saturn games. If you caught my other import videos, you'll have seen some of the other ones, including games like Wolfang and Hyperduel, as well as Dungeons and Dragons and Cyberbots. But in the next video, I'll be going over all of the North American Sega Saturn titles that I have in my collection, and it's a really small collection. I don't really have a ton of North American Sega Saturn games. Again, those are so expensive, but I did get the ones that I wanted to play. Glad that I got them in the collection. Let me know what you're playing. Let me know what some of your favorite consoles are and what games you're playing down below. We have the weekend coming upon us, which means plenty of time to dive into some of our favorite games, and I'm glad you were able to stop by and check me out this evening. Again, I am the Y2K Collector, and I hope you have a good weekend. Take it easy.